Tracy Ellis Ross is getting desperate. Like, the phrase "for the D" is like, it just brings middle school vibes. That's the last time I heard "for the D." She wants the D.
Tracy Ellis Ross grew up very privileged. Not everybody can have Diana Ross as their mother or an American music executive like Robert Ellis Silverstein as their father.
Amen.
But Tracy Ellis Ross grew up in both
Amen
worlds.
to that.
Her mom, an African American Baptist, her dad, who was Jewish, grew up in a very protected environment on the West Coast in Los Angeles. She was so privileged, she ended up attending Brown University. And if you guys didn't know that, that's an Ivy League school. All of her connections allowed her to do very well in Hollywood, from her stint on Girlfriends and Blackish and other comedy series.
Yes,
and if you think about it, she's half black and half white, meaning that she grew up with a lot of different people in her life. It should have been easy for her to date, right? Well, no. Tracy Ellis Ross is 52 and has never been married or even had children. And of course, she's talked about this before on shows, and all of this recently came up in her podcast appearance with Michelle Obama and her brother Craig Robinson.
I didn't even know they had a podcast, though. I really didn't even know that Michelle Obama had a podcast. Shout out Michelle Obama, man. Shout out Michelle.
And their podcast is called IMO, aka In My Opinion. Tracy Ellis Ross discusses the very reasons why in today's world she can't get a man.
And you know, as much as grief does surface for me around not having children and not having, I still wouldn't want the wrong partner.
That's a great point for people to hear.
I'm not interested in that. You have to make my life better. It can't just be, you know, I'm in a relationship to be in a relationship. So even though the grief does emerge and that comes and I hold that, I think of what I've done and I think of, I woke up every morning trying to do my best. I didn't wake up one morning and be like, I'm going to mess this day up.
That's right.
So I must be where I'm supposed to be. And I don't know. Sometimes I think of all of the things I've done, the courage that I've had to have and what I've had to learn how to navigate as a single person with no one to hide behind. And it's built a really beautiful experience around me. And I have incredible friends.
So in this regard, she says, well, you know, I kind of feel bad that I don't have a man or I never had birth, but at least I don't have the wrong partner. You know, like I've gotten up every day and I've did the best that I could in my life. I've tried to give the best effort. I didn't try to make any day.
That's a fair point. You ever seen For My Man or Fatal Attractions? Like, it gets worse, man. You know, not everybody is supposed to be with somebody. So, you know, even the Bible says, like, you know, he who finds a wife finds a good thing, but it also says that because y'all are so, like, sex hungry, like, I don't really plan on anybody really doing anything with anybody. Like, I would prefer you. It is better to be single. However, because y'all so fiending for a person, okay, go be married to one person and be with that one person. But it's not necessarily better for you to be with somebody, so.
I tried to do my best, and you know what? I have great friends. But you know what that sounds like to me? It sounds like this is not a lot of accountability at all. It sounds almost similar or identical to what Megan Good was describing when she broke up or was dumped by Devon Franklin.
Going through
But she with somebody now, so, I mean, I guess.
the divorce.
Ain't no way Megan Good gonna be single, though. It's just, like, it's just not gonna happen. Like, if Megan Good want a man, she's gonna get a man. Now, Tracy Ellis Ross, I'm not saying she's not beautiful, right? It's just levels to everything. It's just like, oh yeah, Megan Good, like, ain't no way, bruh. Ain't no way, bruh. Ain't no way.
Shook me to my core. I was just like, but Lord, you asked me to be celibate, and I was. You know, you told me who to marry. I married that person. I try to do everything to the best of my ability, and no, I didn't do everything perfect, but I don't know that I could have done anything different, if I'm being honest.
Stop the cap.
This whole idea that, you know what, I did the best I could and nothing worked out. Imagine a man saying that. A woman could never accept that. You know what? I mean, all of these women out here, but you know, I did the best I could and it just didn't work out. And I have regular friends. And you know what some women would say if a man had that same exact excuse? You're gay. Yeah, that's exactly.
Niggas trying to bring back the red pill. Is it working? Let's see what the comments say. she would be quick to divorce you if things don't go her way. She played a wife on TV, on 2 TV shows. Real life entirely different. Sounds like an older Tia Mowry. She never broke the Joan character from Girlfriends. Ooh, hold on. She on to something. She wants to control a man, but can't control her emotions. Where are niggas getting this from?
Exactly what they would say. You are absolutely gay. You should figure out how to date men, because dating women just ain't for you. But wait, it gets worse.
The reasons, though, that because I had to ask myself that question. I was like, what is this about?
Yeah.
Because I want a partner. And so often, and it's not just that I'm older, I'm also very embodied. I am a full, very whole person who knows myself, who is in charge of my life, and who lives a very full, just robust life. So it's not just age, it's like life experience and sort of a difference. But I had to ask myself the question, why? Why does this keep sort of coming up other than they're hot and gorgeous?
There's that.
There's that. But a lot of men my age are steeped in a toxic masculinity and have been raised in a culture where there is a particular way that a relationship looks. And anything that starts to smell of that for me, I did enough of it where I was controlled and felt like I was a possession or whatever those things were, or prize, and I have no interest in it. And I will.
In this part, she talks about the fact that, well, she knows herself. She understands who she is now. But another thing, you see, the men, they toxic. Yeah, that's what it was. I kept coming in contact with all these toxic men. These men is toxic.
I think there's a possibility of truth in that. Like, I don't think we have to go straight to like, oh, well, she's not taking accountability, which I do believe in is true, but I think it's more nuanced than that. Like, yeah, you should be taking accountability, but a lot of girls do be with guys that are toxic like multiple times, but it's like, it's not necessarily the right accountability. It's not like, okay, what did you do wrong? It's not even that. It's like, okay, what kind of energy are you attracting? Like, you're constantly attracting a specific person, right? Like, I've listened to females talk and hearing their problems, like, over since I was a youngest, since I was a kid, like 7th, 8th grade, I've always been a learner, especially when it comes to like dating dynamics. So I would just sit and learn, and I just watch, and I sit and I learn, and I watch what girls do, and I see them date the same type of guy over and over again, and then complain about the guy that they're dating, but they're dating the same person. Like, they're dating the same person, it's just a different person, right? So then the question really becomes like, okay, why am I not like attracting any other people? Like, what is it about me? And then you realize, oh, I like this, or I'm attracting this, or maybe I don't like this, but I'm only comfortable with this. I'm only comfortable with a man that puts his hands on me. I'm only comfortable with a man that tears me down. I'm only comfortable with a man, you know, that disrespects me. I'm only comfortable with a man that's controlling. That's all that they're comfortable with. And then they get somebody that's not like that, that's around them, and they no. And so, you know, I heard a lot of times, like, when girls are younger, they like cocky, they like controlling, they like that, you know, and a lot of times they continue to attract that.
These men are toxic. Yeah, because every guy in the world is toxic. Now let's talk about this, because this is something I will give her credit for. At least she didn't put this all on African American men. And remember, this is a lady who went to Ivy League undergraduate at Brown University. You had the opportunity to meet some of the most liberal-minded men.
That is a fair point. I mean, because that's what you usually go to college for. Like, your mom is Diana Ross, your dad is, you know, super successful also. You know, college, niggas is not pressed financially. Niggas is not trying to bring nobody out the hood. So, like, you go there, you know. Oh, she looks older here. I guess she didn't go when she was younger, maybe. I was getting ready to say, that would have been the time to find somebody. Like, that's the time to find somebody. Like, as much, you know, disrespect and, you know, as much down and we talk on the educational system, like, the structure is good socially. Like, it is good structure for you socially. Now, you know, in terms of learning, whatever, we can say what we want to say, but college, high school, middle school. It's good for meeting people. And so I feel like, you know, that probably would have been the best opportunity to have done that.
In the world, because the Ivy League does, in my honest opinion, drift very heavily to the left. Michelle Obama went to Harvard. She met Obama there, right? It's interesting that in Hollywood and all these other places with all of these men that you have met and you are mixed, you only came across toxic men. Well, you know what that means to me? Let's reverse it. Assuming that if you were a man and someone were to tell this to you, and you would say, all the women that I've ever met in my life are toxic, what would a woman say? Well, something must be wrong with your ass if all the women that you've been around is toxic, because I got plenty of friends and ain't none of them toxic, so I don't know how the hell you keep meeting toxic women, because something must be wrong with you. It's crazy because we can't tell Tracy Ellis Ross that.
Hell no.
All right, bro. No.
Toxic women don't exist, but toxic men definitely exist. Even though you went to Ivy League school, you're in liberal Hollywood, you've come across all these amazing people in your life, except for men, by the way, and they're all toxic and no good.
Will not do it again.
I'm sorry.
No,
Craig.
I was gonna say, so it's a generational thing. So it didn't matter how you met them, or is it just kind of the guys you're meeting?
That's obviously
Too big of a
it's
generalization.
a generalization,
Yeah.
but because I have dated men my age, there
Yeah.
is a difference. There is an openness that occurs with a younger man around whether it's gender fluidity or not even having an issue with homosexuality. I mean, something as basic as that.
Right,
That
yeah.
there's
No, I
times
hear you.
where I'll be, sitting across the table from somebody and just like, what did you just say?
Yeah, what century are you?
Like, oh my.
Nah, my dad, bro, I love my dad to life. My dad used to say some crazy stuff. To this day, he be, just 2 weeks ago, not no homosexual stuff. He used to say that, but just 2 weeks ago, he was saying some crazy. I'm like, damn, like, you an elite level cusser, bro. You are one of them ones when it comes to cussing. You can cuss with the best of them.
My God.
Where's your horse and buggy?
Yeah, like, I'm so sorry.
And your bedpan.
Yeah, for real.
Chamber pot.
Yeah,
Your
your
chamber
chamber
pot.
pot. Your chamber pot. Like, where I'm just like, yeah, this is not a match.
Yeah.
And I have long been past the age where I feel like it's my job to teach somebody or grow them up.
Yeah.
That I'm not interested in. So, but it's interesting. I mean, there's so many different philosophies on dating. And
I feel like I hear this a lot, like women say, like, I don't want to teach a man. And it's like, I don't know. I understand it, but at the same time, you got to teach people how to treat you, right? So I got into an argument with the woke. She was like, yeah, but you should know this. This is the standard. I'm like, this is your standard. Right? And I'm cool with your standard, but it's like, I'm not used to your standard. So we shouldn't come into this assuming anything, right? Because if that's the case, I should assume you all good. You don't got no issues. There's nothing we need to work through, right? And you should automatically know what I want. It don't work that way. Like, you got to work. We got to figure out. We have to mesh, like, what works best for us. What do you like? Okay, let me adjust. Okay, what do I like? Okay, you gotta adjust. Okay, how do we... But y'all want a nigga to be like, I just want to know already, like, why am I teaching? It's just like, what do you want to add? Like, you just want to be, like, a feminine presence? Like, I mean, I guess that's understandable, but, like, yo, anything that's good take work, bruh. It take work. Like, it don't matter how old you are. Like, you gotta teach somebody how to be with you. The girls that I was with before you, they like this, and this. So that's what I did. That you wanted this, you didn't say you wanted this, and then you like, yo, you should just know. It just don't work like that, in my opinion.
Now she takes it a step further. It's not just toxic guys. It's toxic men her age. And, this is what a lot of women are doing now. So the men her age, they want to put her in a box. They have a problem. She gave an example of a man on a date that might be homophobic, doesn't like homosexuality or something like that. And so that's the reason why she wouldn't date the guy. And of course, I probably can believe that, there are some people that could be racist or homophobic and all of that. But on the contrary, the younger guys are not like that. They're a breath of fresh air and all of this. And I kind of wonder, could the reason be that the younger guys would like to deal with you that you can control and maybe have to pay, and the guys that are your age don't want to put up with you because of all of your red flags? Yeah, that
that's a heavy projection.
could actually be the case. Again, you can have young men just like older men who are toxic, okay? I've dated women who are older. I've dated women who are younger. Want to know what I found out is that you have young toxicity and you have older toxicity, and it's still toxicity, okay? The reason why these women are going after these young guys is because they feel like they can have some level of control over them. So they can kind of teach them and guide them to be the kind of men.
I don't think that's what she's saying, though. She's saying she doesn't want to teach. So I don't think that's what she's saying. Maybe that could be true in general, but I don't think that's what she's saying, based off what she's saying. Like, oh, I'm far beyond the time where I want to teach a man. Like, so I don't think it's about molding. I think she just wants somebody that came fit. Like, you want an ordered puzzle piece. You don't want to mold. Like, yo, we gotta roll our sleeves up, right? We gotta get in the chair. We gotta stomp that little thing, spin that motherfucking clay, and mold that motherfucker and get them hands dirty. You feel me? Take a lunch break and then get the mold in that motherfucker. You can't just order that on Amazon. You gotta mold it correctly
That they want them to be. And all of a sudden, when you can't force a man to be the man that you want to be because he's set in his ways and he doesn't want you running him or ruling over him, all of a sudden he's toxic. And this is what you kind of see from some of these ladies in Hollywood who don't want to make the sacrifice to be led by a man that's high value. They don't want to do that. They would rather go and deal with a younger guy they would need to pay for and then lead this guy until they get tired of leading him because they get pissed off at the fact that he can't do anything or he doesn't know anything.
Come up with mine. I have come up with what works for me and what makes sense for me and what feels safe for me.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not on dating apps. I have friends that have great success with dating apps, but that's just not something I'm comfortable
So
with.
you're meeting folks in the wild then?
That's the only way for me, or someone sets me up, or
Okay.
I meet them at an event. I meet someone. It's usually people that also have a level of recognition that they, have as much to lose as me to a certain extent. I don't know. I haven't had great luck lately, but I do have to say I'm moving up on what it is that I'm looking for as a match.
Again, this is more of the talk about what makes sense for her. She doesn't use dating apps. She's getting closer to what she's looking for in a man, which is most likely going to be younger and a guy that doesn't have the same financial accomplishments as her. When I hear this short discussion, what I just get at, in my honest opinion, is a lady who is concerned about her happiness. And this is a woman who is not concerned about the happiness of others. And this is very well championed in today's market. It is completely okay as a woman to say, you know what makes sense for me is what is important, but what makes sense for men is not. And then when you can't find the person that you want, then that person.
That's a reach. I don't think she said any. Like, where are we grasping this from? Like, where are we getting this from?
Toxic, and that person is this or that. But the people that you can control, all of a sudden, they have a better opportunity at getting in relationships. Again, if this conversation is switched, that man is now a misogynist and he's everything else in the book. And the reality is that these women that feel like this, unless they're going to go out and be competitive and compete and actually give value in relationship sacrifice, they're never going to get anybody. And they don't want to do that. So I don't know why they just don't say, I don't feel like giving value to any guy because you guys are just not worth it. And I just feel like I'm completely better than you. And I'm going to keep using these silly ass excuses until somebody falls to accept me as I am. Now, it's crazy because so many ladies had great comments on the Shade Room post, and it was mostly women, okay? Let's look at this chick here in Preezy. There is more than one way to be a mom, so I'm going with she doesn't desire to be a mom. Some people don't want no kids. Some people don't got no kids, but always did want them. I don't think people that don't have and don't want kids should be speaking on this woman's reality. She's literally grieving the life she wished she had chosen for her own reasons. Then Adore China. I love when women know their worth. You're gonna always hear that. Elizabeth, the wrong partner is
I guess
so much.
It is true though. It is true because a lot of women do have low self-esteem, and a lot of women are like, I don't know if guys really see like the full spectrum of things. Like, I get it. Like sometimes it can be a little bit much, but there is some truth in that, bro. Because I know there's people, I know people that are dealing with things that's just like, yo, like, if I were to tell you some of the things that people dealing with, bro, niggas wouldn't believe it, bro. I might put it in a book. Bro. Cause it's just like, yo, like, what? It's like, yeah. What you mean? Yeah, what? That's crazy.
Worse than no partner at all. But there was one guy who made the best comment on the entire thread. Want to know who that was? Our guy, Booker Alpharonomy, says, so basically, she can't make it work with any man. Over here too, LMAO. Exactly. And guys, stop the show. Other men have the things that you want in life. So guys, what do you think? It's your boy O'Shea Duke Jackson.
It's your boy O'Shea Duke Jackson.